Hello and welcome to our webinar. This presentation is part of the Louisiana Works Rapid Response virtual webinar series. The Rapid Response team works across the state to help workers who've been affected by layoffs get connected quickly to the resources, training, and job opportunities that can help you move forward. We know that looking for a new job can feel frustrating, especially when you've been applying to dozens of positions and not hearing anything back. You update your resume, hit submit, and then silence. No interviews, no callbacks. So today, we're going to break that cycle. In this short session called, Stop Getting Ghosted. Get past the bots and into the interview. We'll walk you through 5 common resume mistakes that keep good candidates from getting interviews, and we'll show you exactly how to fix them. Before we dive into the most common resume mistakes, let's take a moment to talk about the dreaded Applicant Tracking System, or ATS, the invisible gatekeeper standing between you and the recruiter. Think of the ATS as a digital screening tool designed to help employers manage the flood of applications they receive for each open position. For large companies, that can mean hundreds, sometimes even thousands, of resumes for a single job. The system's job is to scan, organize, and rank those applications so that only the most relevant ones make it to a hiring manager's desk. Here's what actually happens behind the scenes. When you hit apply, your resume doesn't go directly to a person. It's uploaded into the company's ATS, where software parses your document, meaning it breaks down your information into categories like contact details, education, work history, and skills. Then, it searches for specific keywords and phrases that match the language in the job posting. The closer your resume matches those keywords, the higher your score and the better your chances of being seen by a recruiter. The system can also flag issues with formatting or structure, things like fancy templates, tables, graphics, or even uncommon fonts. These can confuse the parser, making it harder for the ATS to interpret your information correctly. And when that happens, your resume gets rejected before anyone even knows how qualified you are. In fact, it's estimated that about 75% of resumes are filtered out during this process, long before they ever reach human eyes. The good news? Once you understand how the ATS works, you can use it to your advantage. By making a few simple, strategic adjustments, like tailoring your resume to match the job description, using clear section headers, and avoiding overly designed layouts, you can dramatically improve your visibility. In short, the ATS isn't your enemy. It's a tool, and when you learn how to work with it instead of against it, you'll move from being overlooked to being noticed. Here's a big mistake I see all the time. People sending the exact same resume to every single job posting. I get it, it feels efficient, right? You've got your resume saved, it's polished, and you just keep hitting apply, apply, apply. But here's the thing. What feels efficient is actually one of the main reasons people don't get interviews. Think about it, every employer is looking for something slightly different, even if the job titles sound the same. One company's project coordinator might be focused on logistics and scheduling, while another company's version leans heavily into budgeting or data management. The keywords, the priorities, even the tone of the posting can shift from one to the next. That's why using the same resume over and over doesn't work. The ATS, that applicant tracking system we just talked about, is scanning for specific keywords that match the posting. If your resume doesn't include them, you're basically invisible, even if you're qualified. Now, don't panic. I'm not saying you need to completely rewrite your resume every time you apply. That would be exhausting. What you do need to do is retune it. Think of it like adjusting the radio. Just a few small tweaks to match the right frequency. Start with the basics. Look at the job title, the summary, and the top third of your resume. That's the prime real estate that employers read first. Update your job title to reflect the one in the posting. If it's a fair match, adjust a few key phrases to echo the language they're using, and make sure the skills listed align with what they're asking for. In the example on the slide, take a look at the first sentence of each resume. On the left, we've got something really generic, creative and motivated professional with experience in various design projects. That could describe anyone, but on the right, we see something much more targeted, product designer with 5 years of experience focusing on digital product design across multiple platforms. Boom, that's specific, that's tailored to the job. The difference between those two examples is night and day. The generic one blends in with hundreds of others, but the targeted one immediately signals, I'm the person you're looking for. So the big takeaway here is this. One-size-fits-all resumes rarely make it past the filters. The goal isn't to sound like you're a good fit for every job. It's to sound like you're the perfect fit for this job. If you can make that small shift in how you apply, just 5 minutes of tailoring per posting, you'll see a big difference in your results. You'll move from being one of hundreds in the pile to being one of the few who actually get noticed. Here's a huge mistake that keeps a lot of good resumes from ever being seen: skipping over the keywords in the job posting. Those keywords aren't just fluff or filler. They're actually the language the Applicant Tracking System, or ATS, is listening for. Think of the ATS like a digital gatekeeper. It's scanning every resume that comes in, looking for matches to the exact words and phrases the employer used in their posting. If the job description says project coordination, but your resume only says manage tasks, the system might not realize those mean the same thing. And that means your resume could get filtered out before a human ever reads it. It's like trying to get into a club without knowing the right password. You could be perfect for the job, but the bouncer doesn't recognize you because you didn't say the magic words. Here's the fix. Before you hit apply, take a minute to really read the job posting. Highlight any words or phrases that show up more than once. These are usually the skills, responsibilities, or certifications that matter most, things like customer service, inventory management, safety compliance, or Microsoft Excel. Then, work those same phrases into your resume naturally, not by stuffing a list of keywords, but by weaving them into your experience statements. For example, instead of saying, helped customers, say, delivered excellent customer service by resolving issues quickly. Instead of kept track of supplies, try managed inventory using standardized inventory management processes. See the difference? You're not gaming the system, you're simply speaking its language. And when you do that, you dramatically increase the chances that your resume gets past the software and into the hands of an actual person who can see what you really bring to the table. This one trips up a lot of people, over-designing their resume. We've all seen those sleek Canva templates, the ones with multiple columns, colorful graphics, and fancy icons. They look incredible on your screen. They feel modern and professional. But here's the problem: they're designed for the human eye, not the computer's. The Applicant Tracking System, or ATS, doesn't see pretty layouts. It reads code. When your resume has text boxes, logos, charts, or columns, the system often can't figure out how to read it. Instead of moving neatly from top to bottom, it jumps all over the page. It might mix up your job titles and dates, skip half your experience, or completely ignore your skills section. Imagine spending hours crafting the perfect resume, only for the software to read it like scrambled alphabet soup. That's why the safest choice isn't the flashiest one. You don't need a resume that looks like a brochure, you need one that works. Keep it clean and straightforward, black text on a white background. Clear section headings like experience, education, and skills. Standard fonts like Calibri, Arial, or Times New Roman. Bullet points that start with strong action verbs. You can still make it look professional without confusing the system. Think of it like this: design for the robot first, then for the human. If your resume can make it past the digital gatekeeper, then it reaches the hiring manager, and that's when your formatting, wording, and accomplishments truly shine. So, next time you're tempted to use that gorgeous template, remember, the ATS doesn't care about your color palette. It just wants clean, scannable text it can understand. This one's huge and super common. Most resumes sound like a copy and paste of the job description. You know the type. Responsible for this. Handled that. Duties included. That kind of language only tells me what your job was, not what you did with it. And here's the thing: employers aren't hiring you just because you held a title. They want to know what changed because you were there. Think about it. Two people can have the exact same job title, but one might have completely transformed the role. That's the person who gets noticed. Here's the shift. Move from tasks to impact. Instead of saying, responsible for managing inventory, try, reduced inventory errors by 20% by implementing a new tracking process. Or instead of, assisted with training new staff, say, trained and mentored 8 new employees who exceeded performance goals within their first 60 days. See the difference? The first version reads like a checklist. The second tells a story. It shows initiative, leadership, and measurable success. Results make you memorable. They show you don't just do the job, you improve it. When you start writing in that style, every bullet point becomes a mini success story. You're not just describing your past, you're proving your value to your next employer. So before you finalize your resume, scan it for those responsible for, or duties included, phrases. Replace them with what you actually achieved, numbers, improvements, outcomes. Because at the end of the day, hiring managers don't want to read about responsibilities. They want to meet the person who gets results.
ATS scanners are reading your resume before it gets to a hiring manager, and you will not get any interviews if you don't follow these rules. Number 1, don't use fancy resume layouts. It's going to confuse the scanner. Number 2, ATS scanners read text boxes in sometimes a random, unreliable order. So if you're using a ton of text boxes like this, it's going to be a problem. Number 3, do not neglect keywords. Put the job posting into ChatGPT and add this prompt. It's going to give you some keywords that you can put here in your resume and in your bullet points too. ATS scanners are reading your resume before it gets to a hiring manager, and you will not get any interviews if you don't follow these rules. Number 1, don't use fancy resume layouts. It's going to confuse the scanner. Number 2, ATS scanners read text boxes in sometimes a random, unreliable order. So if you're using a ton of text boxes like this, it's going to be a problem. Number 3, do not neglect keywords. Put the job posting into ChatGPT and add this prompt. It's going to give you some keywords that you can put here in your resume and in your bullet points too.